I've had a few of you ask me recently if I'm the member of a nomadic tribe, and it got me thinking, what is that? And how do you find one? And do you really need one? I'll talk about all of it in today's video. Hey everybody, it's Robin with Creativity RV, and welcome to episode 22 of Be a Nomad, Change Your Life, my Sunday series where I give you every tip and trick you need to hit the road full time. If you go into my playlist, you can see all the other episodes that I've had in this series, but today I'm going to be talking about tribes and loneliness because I get a lot of questions on this. And so I'm going to touch on a few things here, starting with this. I'm going to tell you the truth. When you first set out in an RV by yourself, it can be a little bit isolating. But frankly, I find that most people that are attracted to this life want that. You know, maybe you've come from a rat race or a house full of kids or whatever, and you just want to sit in the desert and look at a bird fly by. That's what I used to say. And you want some peace and quiet. But there are also a lot of people that want to travel full-time with another group of people, which they can call a tribe, and some of us want to split the difference. So today, I'm going to go through what a tribe really is, how you find the right one for you, why it's important that you have a tribe if it's for you, and what the camp etiquette is when you're in a tribe. So you guys know me, of course I've done some research on this subject, and so let's start first with the isolation or the potential loneliness when you're on the road. So look, sometimes I feel a little bit lonely, but then when I go and pump gas at the gas station and pay the teller, it's gone. I don't need to be with people all the time. Sometimes I do in small amounts, but you might be completely different. Like you may have seen the video that I just did with an interview of Carol, and the title on that says Happy Nomad. She prefers to camp with other people. She's fine on her own. So we're kind of flipped. I like to be alone most of the time and camp with other people some of the time, and Carol likes mostly to camp with other people and be alone some of the time. So you have to find what your happy medium is. But while you're thinking about that, let's talk about how much socialization a person really needs to stay healthy, and if it's dangerous, how isolating it can be for you to be on the road. By the way, if you guys are wondering where I am right now, this is not my RV, but I'll explain that more next week. So let's get into the research that I found on how much socialization you really need and what that even means. So first of all, there is a ton of research out there that says that socializing is important for your health. So it helps with life expectancy, depression, obesity, all kinds of things. But how much socializing you need really varies by person, right? A lot of people that decide to hit the road are introverts, or they're part extrovert, part introvert, like me. And I think what's important here is that you do still have some rich connections, even if that's not with a tribe. So I'm very lucky in that, you know, I have friends that I've had for 20 years that I talk to, but not every day. And I have a couple of people I do talk to every day. And I do have what I would call a group of friends in the nomad community. I don't know if I would call them a tribe because I'm not really a tribe kind of a girl myself. But I found a group of friends and we communicate by text message all the time. We meet up with each other, we ask each other questions, and we're just there for each other, you know, if we need something or we're having a bad day. So for me, I have really rich connections and I can socialize without actually having to see other people. But that's me, and you guys might be totally different. Now, when I went to research this, I remembered an article that I saw about 5 years ago that I had a friend send me. My friend is an elder law attorney, and he sent me a really sad article about a guy that was found deceased in his house in Brooklyn, I think. I went back and read it for this video. And it turns out that it's really common for people to be so isolated in normal life that they die without anybody even knowing it for extended periods of time. In Japan, I was surprised to learn when I was doing this research, 4 out of 10 people right now in Japan die without anybody knowing, and they cannot be found sometimes for weeks at a time because they have such an aging population. And I don't bring this up to be macabre or anything. I just want to tell you guys that just because you go into an RV, that doesn't mean that you're going to be isolated. You can be isolated in an apartment building surrounded by other people. I mean, I've been at parties in my life with 100 other people in the room and I felt completely lonely because I had nothing in common with those people and I didn't really want to be there. So when you go into an RV, you get to choose what your style of socializing is going to be. And I want to tell you that I think that if you're an introvert, you may even have more opportunities to socialize with the people that you want to socialize with. Now, that does take a little bit of effort, but because you're part of a nomadic community overall, you do have opportunities to meet people that have similar interests as you, and it's built right in. So it's not like you're into, birds or something and you go to a cocktail party and you can't find another person that's into birds, right? We're all into living on the road. So when you go out and have your nomadic life, just know that there are opportunities to meet other people, and I'm going to give you some strategies for that coming up. But you can be isolated in the real world, or you can be isolated in an RV. The choice is really yours. But the cool part to me is that in an RV, you get to choose when you come and go. So you control how much you're alone and how much you're with other people. So I'll say this, if you don't have a rich built-in social structure like I have, for example, you might need to go out and find some friends to camp with or to travel with or just some people to communicate with online more than I do. You're just going to have to check your own, inner gauge and see what's right for you. If you start to get lonely, pack up and head to a new spot. Go to a coffee shop. Go talk to some people. Go to a meetup. There's a ton of opportunities out there. I'm going to give you guys some tips for how to find other people now. And when people talk about nomadic tribes, like you'll see a lot of YouTube nomads talking about getting together with the tribe or leaving the tribe or being left behind by the tribe. That is one type of tribe to me. Another type is like if you go to the RTR, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, which is coming up this January in Arizona. By the way, the RTR last year changed my life. I really recommend it if you can head out and go to it this January. I'll be there. Or Travelers Camp Fest. Or I know people that go to meetups. Those are big groups of RVers that are coming together to one space. You may not know any of them. It can be a little daunting to go up and talk to people that you don't know, especially if you're an introvert. But just know this, everybody's coming for the same reason. And people don't come to meetups or rallies because they don't want to meet other people. They're coming because they do. If you go to something like the RTR or a Travelers Camp Fest or something like that, here's what I recommend. Give everybody a wave when you drive in. That is one of my favorite things about camp life is, a lot of people wave at each other. Give people a wave. Sitting outside in your camp chair is a sure sign that you might want to talk to other people. Maybe not. Don't get at me in the comments below about when you're in your chair, you want to be left alone. Okay. But sit outside, smile at people. If you see a gathering, walk up, ask if you can come into that campsite. That's etiquette. I'll get to that in a minute. But, just put yourself out there. So those are the big ways to meet people. But then, as a strategy for you, if you're looking for your own tribe, not a big RTR tribe, but your own tribe, think about going from big to small. So let's say you go to the RTR and you meet someone you really click with, or you go to RVing Women, which I did a video on. I'll link that video below. A lot of those women meet up, they meet every quarter, but then they meet other people that they really jive with and they'll travel together for a week or years. So it just depends on who you meet and who you click with and how much time you want to spend with another person. In my thumbnail for this video, you probably saw that I was with Lisa, Julia, Peggy, and me. I camped with them for 4 days, which is about right for me. That was great. We met every day. We had a lot of fun. We had some good conversations. I also camped with Carol, who I did an interview on recently, and Teresa, who I did another interview on. And after the RTR last year, I went to a meetup after that where I met some of my best friends on the road. I met Tiki and Jill, who there's an interview on my website. And Kelly Doyle, who's got a great YouTube channel. And all of those ladies I stay in touch with constantly now. You might go to a big event like an RTR or a Travelers Camp Fest or RVing Women, and you might just get what you need in those few days and head back out on your own. But you might also meet people that you click with, that you travel with, Or you might meet people that you just text with, and all of that is okay. Just use your own gauge and know that if you put yourself out there, the opportunity is there. Now that we've talked about socializing being good for your health and what tribes really are, and maybe some strategies for finding tribe members, let's talk just for a second about finding the right tribe members for you, because the worst thing in the world would be stuck camping with a bunch of people that you don't want to be with, right? So a lot of us, when we head out in our nomadic life, want to do it as a positive change, and it's really easy to fall into old patterns, right? You have to choose the people that you camp with just like the people you would socialize with in the real world. But sometimes it's hard to break those patterns, right? So if you were a drama person in your old life, you might be gravitating towards a drama kind of a tribe. So just really think about what kind of a tribe member you want to be for other people and what you want from them. In fact, in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. Tell me what you're looking for in a tribe member. I think that's really important for people to put down there, and also to read and comment back, because this will help everybody when they're trying to be a good tribe member for somebody else, right? Like if you like to drink or don't like to drink, or you want to hike or not hike, or be left alone, or you're 420 friendly or not, or whatever it is, think about what you want out of a tribe and look for that tribe. Don't get stuck with a tribe that's not for you and feel like you're stuck there, like you can't get out of it. There is a ton of opportunity out there. Now that we've talked about how to find your tribe and finding out how much time with a tribe might be right for you, let's talk about some quick camp etiquette. Now, I have to say, this is stuff I did not know in the beginning, and I had to learn, and some OG RV nomads were nice enough to tell me, and so I'm going to tell you. The first thing is, don't cut across somebody else's campsite. Think about there being an invisible barrier around them, and it's like cutting through somebody's yard if you cut across their campsite. Another thing is, if you see them sitting out in their chair, ask if you can come over to the campsite. What I normally see people do is walk up to the perimeter, this invisible perimeter around an RV or a van or whatever, and say, hey, can I come over and sit with you? Hey, do you want some company this morning? Because a lot of people like their isolation. Maybe they're sitting outside meditating or something, or they just want to be left alone and read their book. So always ask before you come over. One of the worst things in the world is if you want to be out there by yourself and then somebody plops their butt down in the chair next to you without asking, and you try and be nice for a minute, right, and have a conversation, but then you're really thinking, I'm working, I'm reading, whatever, and you just really want them to leave, and they don't. And if that's the case and somebody says, hey, can I come over? Say something like, maybe later, I'm working on something, if you are, and that's totally okay in nomad communities. Another thing I also find with most nomads is they do like to spend a lot of time alone. If you hook up with a tribe, don't think that it has to be the kind of thing where you're together all day and you have to eat all your meals together and do the same things necessarily. Some people do like to do that. But in my experience, what I find is that maybe we get together once a night at a campfire, or in the morning with coffee outside. You'll just find the level with whatever group you're in. So don't expect people to be with you all day. And don't be scared other people are going to be with you all day. It's okay if you just meet up once and, maybe they're going to say something like, hey, we're going to go play cards. You want to play? And you say, no, thanks. And that's totally fine. And the final thing is, if you try and be somebody's nomad friend or be part of their tribe and they don't want to be, don't be offended, because everyone has their own level and they're dealing with their own stuff in that moment in their life. So if they don't want to be your friend or be in your tribe, it's okay. There's a million people out there. And to that same end, once you're in a tribe, don't be offended if people come and go. This is just part of nomad life, and you just have to go have happy travels. So what I find normally happens is, like the night before, someone says, hey, I'm going to head out in the morning at dawn. We won't have a chance to say goodbye, and you hug or whatever you like to do. But don't expect people to travel with you forever. And if you're ready to go, it's totally cool. Just say, hey, I'm taking off tomorrow. And if you have good tribe members, they're going to say, safe travels, and I'll see you down the road. So do you need a tribe? It's up to you. It just depends on how much socializing you personally feel comfortable with. Just know this. Your people are out there. If you search for them, there's a ton of people doing this life, and you're going to have a built-in hobby to talk to them about, and that's living on the road. And you get to decide how often you're with a tribe and where you go and how long you stay there and when it's time to take off. And that sounds pretty perfect, right? At least to me. So please give this video a big thumbs up. It does help other people discover this video and this channel. Put your comments down below, including some horror stories. I'd love to hear them. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Share this with your friends if they can use it. Everybody have happy travels out there and be free.